Okay, we're taking it back because there was something going on and I couldn't figure out what was going on. So, hi, Jules.
Hi,
good evening.
Good
and
evening.
It's so nice to have you back. And it's like after about 2 months that I haven't done anything. And just looking at you right now and saying this is the best thing that's happening, that we are getting together to talk about what a beautiful topic. How can you feel lighter in your body without changing what you eat? Now, this sounds like more like a miracle to me. Can this really happen that, you can come to know what, like without changing anything, you're going to feel lighter? Just for people to know, I want to welcome over here Jules. Jules is an award-winning coach, a co-author of 2 best-selling books, and a creator of 2 online courses. She typically works with the career-driven women who have a tendency to overindulge in food they know is bad for them and do it anyways. Jules helps them to identify and resolve the root cause so they find freedom with food, joy in eating, and confidence in their body. Welcome, Jules, to this forum today. And thank you for being there. It really means a lot. So can you hear me properly, Jules?
I can hear you perfectly.
Perfect. So Jules, tell me a little bit about what do you mean by like you can reduce or you can pull down your, you can be lighter without changing anything that you eat, because most of us believe it's the eating that's causing the problem. Thank you.
Thank you, absolutely. And that's where often people follow a direction that gets them nowhere fast. And what I mean by that is people feel in their bodies when they're heavier than they want to be, that it's food related. So what do? They go on a diet, or they go to a nutritionist, or they go to a dietitian, or they read the next diet book, or, in this country, we have organizations that, are specifically aimed at making people eat less in order to lose what they call is extra weight. And what inevitably happens is, for a short term, you may see some results, but does it really make you happy? Internally, have you really enjoyed that process of denying yourself delicious food? Have you enjoyed counting calories? Have you really enjoyed all the things that you're asked of when you are on those sorts of diets? And the answer usually is no. And that can cause people so much stress that it can have the opposite effect, and you end up putting on weight because stress causes weight gain. So you go around in a circle where you don't eat what you want, you get stressed, and then you put on weight. And then people wonder after 6 months' time or a year's time why they've suddenly put on weight. And the reason is it may not have been food related. So,
okay.
Yeah,
so
go on.
Are you trying to say that even if I'm eating less, and I want people to hear this, because even if I'm eating less, but I'm stressing out more, then I'm going to put on weight?
Absolutely.
So my weight may not be related to my food at all?
Absolutely.
So it's about me eating my stress, is that so?
Yes.
Okay, can you elaborate on this, please? Thank you.
I would love to. So my expertise is people's relationship with food. What I really understand extremely well is how the body is impacted by their relationship with food, not the food itself. Because somebody can have the healthiest diet where they eat every green vegetable under the sun and they eat every single mineral, nutrient, and they can be completely and utterly, heavy in their bones, heavy in their heart, heavy in their head. And what can happen is that they're not happy, and they could be on the healthiest diet possible. So you have to question, well, if it's not food related, what else is it? And that's what we're going to look at right now. So there are obvious times when it is food related, and clearly if you're eating a meal, meals of processed food and junk food and highly dense food with oils and fats, of course you're going to put on weight. But we're talking about the people that are struggling to change their weight and they have a healthy diet, why they are feeling heavy. It's that category of people that we're referring to here. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And Jules, in my country, it's very well known that there are 3 things that can really limit people. I don't know whether you believe in it or not. One is worry.
Yeah.
The other is hurry.
Hurry, yeah.
And the third one is the curry that we have. Are you trying to tell me that my curry is healthy?
Your curry might be healthy for you and it might be unhealthy for the next person.
Oh, I didn't know about this.
So, for everybody, you're going to have a different effect. So you could eat a curry and it could be like the best thing your body's ever received. And your neighbor, your friend, your partner could eat the same curry and they could be up all night struggling to digest it. They could be up all night with stomach pains, or they could receive headaches, or it could affect their sleep. Same curry, different body. And wow. So, everybody's going to be different, and we can't all pigeonhole ourselves into one box and say this is good for everybody, because it's not. It's good for that one individual.
Okay, so it sounds like there are 2 things we really need to talk here about. One is eating stress.
Yes.
And the other is that why is it suits me but doesn't suit someone else?
Yeah, because we're all individuals. So why is it that you can, for example, put some cream on your face and it's fine, and the next person puts the same cream on and they get a reaction, they get a rash? Why is it that one person is allergic to nuts and the other one can eat a whole bag and it's not a problem? Because we're all individual and we all manage things differently in our bodies. So some people can manage stress better than others. Some people it will affect their sleep, others it will affect their weight, others it will affect their mood, and some people it will affect their energy. So we all respond differently to the external factors that go on.
Then how do I know why am I putting on weight? I mean, I understand it's stress. I understand it can be worry, hurry, curry. I can understand that it could be many other things that are going on. Why am I putting on weight? Okay. Why, and particularly, why would people generally, and this is very important for India, before you go any further, I've often seen women before marriage in India, and they get typically married around the age of 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 is late, 26 is late, 30 is my God, and 32 is, oh God, you're finished. So just needed to tell you that. And once they are married,
yeah,
we often say she looks prosperous now.
Yeah.
She suddenly puts on weight. Women before marriage. Any idea why that would happen?
Oh, sorry, Anu. Just 1 second. I've
just muted. Too many things going. Yeah. So I really want to know, and I'm sure there are a lot of people on the Facebook right now who are there. There's Sumita there, Archana, there is Sabha there, and people are looking at this, and most of them are women here, and it feels as if it's something about being at your mom's house. You were still lean, petite, good looking. Once you get married, something magically happens and you become big. And you never seem to go back to who you were before. Thank you so much for this. Yeah.
So one of the answers to that I found in my own practice with my own clients is that when you change your identity in some shape or form, you lose a part of yourself. So when people change a part of their identity from single to married, from a corporate job to working for themselves, whatever it is, there is a sense of fear about who they will then become. Will they be recognizable? Will they still be loved? Will they still have the same circle of friends, etc.? And that can cause a subconscious, like a turmoil inside, where it can make people feel stressed. Who am I going to be now that I'm married? Who am I going to be now that I am somebody different? And that internally can also create an effect. And the effect, again, like we said before, can be weight gain. That's one aspect. The other aspect is they could drop into, oh, thank goodness, I don't need to try anymore. You know, oh, thank goodness, I'm not out trying to impress or attract anymore. I have now found somebody that I feel safe with, or that I now can relax. And then you let all of your efforts to look after yourself go. That's from my experience of working with certain women in my practice, that I've come across the reasons why that happens. So the people that you're talking about, it's not unusual, it happens, it does happen, not to everyone, but it does happen. And they're two of the main reasons why I have found that it's happened.
I think what you found was brilliant. I've never thought about it like this, that yes, it's almost like in my country, when someone gets married, they change not just their name.
Yes.
Sometimes the name is not changed by you, but by their families.
Yes.
And of course, they change the identity because the expectations that were there in before house to now is entirely different.
Absolutely.
So do these expectations, or could there be a relationship between the expectations that people have in various different jobs, or change of identity to food and to kind of putting on weight? Could there be a relationship there?
Definitely a relationship there, because they don't know what's going on internally. So they lean on something like food, which is readily available to most people, to help them out. So food therefore becomes something that they lean on to deal with the unresolved emotions that they do not understand that they're feeling. And then that also has an impact, because they start eating more because they're feeling unfamiliar emotions that they perhaps have never felt before, and they don't know how to manage it. So they say, okay, I'm going to stuff it down because I don't like it. I'm going to eat because then I don't need to express it. And again, we're in a cycle of eat more. Naturally, this may not be a healthy option, because, you know, food that's readily available is usually not the healthiest. No one's going to snack on a carrot and think that resolved my frustration. They're going to go for a biscuit, you know. They're not going to go for a carrot and think, oh my God, I feel fantastic. They're not trying to feel fantastic. They're trying to manage the emotion that they're unfamiliar and uncomfortable with. So they eat biscuits, they eat crisps, they eat fattening food, they eat cake, they eat ice cream, they eat whatever is available to them.
So what are these emotions that are making them eat all this? What kind of emotions are we talking here when you're saying they're not familiar, they want to?
Yeah.
What are these emotions?
There's five. Typically there's five. One is frustration. When people feel frustrated, they can tend to eat. One of them is loneliness. Typically, when somebody feels lonely, they find comfort in food, and they don't realize that maybe a phone call to a friend or a hug from a loved one would actually have resolved that better. The third one is anger. So, you know, feeling angry, I don't know how to express this, it doesn't feel nice, you want to quickly get rid of it, I'm just going to eat something. The fourth emotion is boredom. Many people don't know what to do with themselves if they're alone, or even in a partnership, in a relationship. You can feel bored in that relationship, you're going to eat, if you have the tendency to do so. And the fifth emotion is sadness. So when people feel a sense of sadness to a degree that they don't want to express it, they can eat. So these five kind of emotions can drive people to eat.
So Jules, why are we so scared to express all these emotions? I mean, I completely get it when you're saying, I know that I'm somebody who loves being hugged.
Yes.
Every time I look at my dog,
yes.
My little Luna, she's not little, she's big, but every time I look at my Luna and she is sitting there with her head down, give me a hug. She reminds me of me. Oh. Someone who would just love hugs and kisses and cuddles. And I know how bad I can feel or how angry I can feel if I feel cheated of a friend or something is not there.
Yeah.
Well, why are we hiding these feelings? What is the reason to hide? Why aren't we expressing it? Why aren't we putting it out there to people that I do need a hug? I am feeling sad today. I am feeling, why are we hiding it?
There's quite a few reasons to that. The first ones that come up to answer that question is that there is fear of being judged. So there's fear of judgment for how you may come across to somebody else if you express yourself in the way that you need to. The other is fear of what might happen if you open a box of emotions. So what is on the other side, people can fear. And they may think or feel that there's no return back, that there is no way back if they open that box and release their emotions. And actually, there's often no way back if they keep the emotions, but people don't see it like that. It's the opposite. You express the emotion and you'll find freedom. People tend to keep the emotion because they're scared of the freedom, or they're scared that freedom won't be there for them.
So often people are expressing the emotions, especially the anger, in a relationship with each other. They are expressing, but they're expressing it where they shouldn't, and they aren't expressing it where they should.
Yes,
So
and they're expressing it in an unskilled way. So, the ways of feeling lighter, coming back to how to feel lighter, one of those ways is to actually let go of the resentment or guilt or, fear that you carry around from relationships, from loved ones, that builds up in your body. It is such a heavy weight. Those emotions that are unresolved weigh people down. So one of the ways of feeling lighter is to release those emotions and definitely not hold on to them.
It's even metaphorically, if you kind of let go.
You are letting go. You are totally letting go. Yeah. So one of the areas that benefits is your body. When you let go of those emotions, you're going to completely feel lighter.
Absolutely. Yeah. So give us a few tips of what is it that we could do and not do? How can we express ourselves, or basically what can we do?
Perfect.
What do we have to let go of? What do we have to start doing?
I'd love to. Excellent. I'd love to. So the first thing to let go of, I want whoever's at home to consider that their home can be a source of feeling incredibly heavy. When your home is full of physical objects that make you feel like you're cluttered, it can make you feel heavy. And so if you look around now and say to yourself, I actually don't need that. I really don't need that. That doesn't belong in sight. It could belong in a different place. You will immediately feel lighter when everything is decluttered and taken away. So your physical space will, your home will massively benefit on how you feel when that's organized. So that's the first thing. Concentrate on your home.
Wow. I never thought about it. I mean, it's like decluttering. Completely. Your life begins with the objects that are sitting at home and then you don't really want. And I know some of us are like so scared if we even drop something out and, oh no, I need it back. I need it back.
That fear of what if I need it next is encouraging you to keep big, because that big is the support. That bigness, that extra weight is the padding that you need to feel protected. So once when you go over that fear, you lose the padding. It's, oh my God, I feel fantastic. I feel light. I feel free. I have a client that I've been to her house twice now. I spent the whole day helping her to declutter because I really believe in helping my clients feel light. So whilst I specialize in food and eating and the body, if you don't look at their actual home, you're missing something. So I go around to her house. I helped her clear everything that she had that was making her feel like she didn't even want to go home. And she's a new woman.
Wow. I never thought about it. Guys, I'm sure you never thought about it. I mean, talking about feeling light and talking about not even food. Here, Jules is going to come to my house.
Yes, I'd love to. It's a long way, but I'll be there.
And make me throw everything. And you know what? Who will be most happy? Probably my husband, who sits down and says, we need to throw everything out. And somewhere, it's not just throwing on on a serious note, it's not just throwing the objects out.
No,
It's the sentiments that we attach with it. Oh, this is
absolutely.
what, and everything else that goes with it.
Absolutely. The sentiments, some people don't like to throw away the sentiments they attach, but they do need to throw away things like anger and resentment that affects their heart. So once when these emotions are held on to, not the positive emotions, but the negative ones, it will affect their heart. They're going to feel heavy. So that's another aspect, is how to get rid of anger and resentment, which makes you feel heavy, and sadness that you haven't resolved. You let go of that, however you know how to. Let go of that, and your heart is going to feel lighter, and therefore your body's going to feel lighter. So that's another one. Does that make sense?
Yes, Jules. So if I just break down, and I know that happened when my kids left home.
Yes. Yes.
I couldn't stop crying.
Mm-hmm.
I would stand everywhere, and they were going to a boarding school, a residential school, as it is called in few countries. And when they left, a part of me left with them. And I kind of just, because they were the ones I used to give hugs to, love to, and they would reciprocate back. So it wasn't like it was always this. And it went on for some time, and suddenly the tears stopped. But people who saw me, they were totally of no use. They would come around, pat me over here and say, "You are so lucky. You have no idea. You've left these two monkeys and you are like now really enjoying yourself and doing all these things because, and you're traveling because you're not there in your life."
Mm.
And I started putting on weight.
Mm.
So could you explain what that was about? And just before we go, I want to say hello to everybody. There's Archana, Mitlesh, Veena, Jyoti Kapoor, Rovina. I really want to say thank you to every one of you, Devinder Kaur, Archana, and Sumita, and Sabha. If you guys are not here, this is not fun. So thank you so much for being there.
Yes, thank you from me as well.
Okay. So why is it that even when I was expressing, and I had allowed them to go because they needed to, I wanted them to go and have the best education. I was ready to have an empty nest.
Mm.
And I couldn't stop my tears. Yet I felt there was nobody that I knew who could hold me. And after that, I did put on weight.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing that, Anu. And I'm sure that's going to resonate with a few people here and a few people that are going to listen in the future to this video. And it's a really great question. The answer to it really is that a part of you, because you expressed yourself, that's brilliant, but a part of you has still gone. So expressing yourself is wonderful, but it doesn't bring back your children to your nest. It doesn't bring back them in their childhood. The part of you has gone for a positive reason, because your children are grown up, and that's a beautiful thing. And I'm a mother, I understand. I haven't been through that yet. My children are still young. My eldest is 14. But I will understand how that feels, because I know it's coming at some point where they fly the nest and a part of me will go as well. And your body will react in different ways when a part of you that you have loved and cherished for that amount of years suddenly goes. And again, it's about filling it up with something else that's positive. Otherwise, there's an empty hole. And often, again, weight gain is part of filling up that empty hole by adding something else in there. You may not have changed anything about the way you eat, but something's missing and you've got to expand to fill up the space. Otherwise, you feel empty and lost.
Yes, I did. And in fact, when they do come back for holiday, and my son is there with me for last 3 years now, is it 4? it's interesting. I could never connect back in that because I don't even feel he looks the same.
Yeah.
My eyes search for the person who left, the way he looked, the way my daughter looked. They both are, one is 28 and one is 24. So they're not children anymore. They're not those people who I could hold and create that magic.
Yeah, which is part of your process, is to accept that they're not ever going to be that anymore.
Wow. I never realized I was grieving for the kids who are there.
Exactly. So you look at your 28-year-old and you see what he isn't or she isn't, as opposed to what he or she has become. And then there's an internal suffering. Oh, I miss that part of them. I miss their childhood. I miss me mothering that 14-year-old, 10-year-old, 5-year-old. But that part has beautifully progressed into an adult. And when you can then find the alignment with the fact that that's no longer coming back, you'll feel freer.
Oh, wow. I'm sure I'm talking about this, and it's really, and I'm talking from my heart. I don't like hiding things. And I'm sure, because I can see the messages and coming in here, that you are also connecting with this. If you can put it down in the chat that what does this bring up for you? And if you have a question, we will answer it. Hi, Safina. She's there from Egypt. So welcome, my dear friend over here, and welcome to Meta Health family and to Matrix Reimprinting family. This is a combined effort from both the sides because Jules is also part of Matrix Reimprinting, and so am I. Jules, that means you said when the identity changes, and you were talking about also these successful women like you and me, like many other, and they're eating to fill in something, or they are not. We know that some foods are wrong and right, is what you've written. So how do you tackle with them? What do you do with them? Thank you.
Did you say some foods are right and wrong? Did I hear that?
Yeah, I mean, I know of a lady very successful who is very young. She works out like crazy. She doesn't let sugar come near her. But when she's frustrated, sad, and now she is on the brink of living her life by herself because she didn't want to continue in a marriage that doesn't work. And yet even with all this restraint and control, something is happening where you're telling yourself, I'm just going to have one chocolate, just one cake, not more than that.
Yeah.
What do you do when you're in that place?
So when you're in that place, this is really what I focus on so much, is detaching labels to food. When you label food as right or wrong, or good for you or not good for you, there's a void that you're heading into where food becomes the problem. And then you've gone on a tangent where the real problem lies. It's suddenly buried under cake and buried under chocolate. It's like, I can't find it anymore because you've put all the food on top of the problem. So actually, when you detach, there is no problem with having a chocolate. Enjoy the chocolate. There's so much terrible things going on in the world. My God, enjoy a chocolate. I really encourage people to focus on their relationship with food, not the food. If they are if they're massively diabetic and they're eating loads of sugar, it's not good, right? They know that. But focus on how good it makes you feel when you enjoy amazing food. Think about the company that you surround yourself with when you eat. If you're with people that you love, doesn't the food taste amazing? Whatever you're eating. And you don't go away and think, oh my gosh, I feel terrible about eating that meal. You had the best couple of hours ever. Equally, the flip side of that, if you're eating on your own and you're eating food that afterwards is going to make you feel guilty and resentful and shame, and you look at yourself in the mirror and you hate yourself, how bad is that food going to be, you know, for you for the long term? That's not how to enjoy food. So people have attached the wrong message to the food, and then they blame it on the food and they go on a diet, but they're not looking internally at what they really need to focus their attention on. And if they did, they would love eating a biscuit. They would relish eating an ice cream with their children. They would have a cake at a birthday party and not feel bad about it. All of this is amazing things because food is an expression. We celebrate with food. If we didn't celebrate with food, what would Christmas lunch look like? An empty table. What would a birthday party look like? An empty table. We celebrate with food. We're not meant to look at it and punish ourselves when we eat it. And so I help people to change the perception and the beliefs they have around themselves, and then with food, not first food, then themselves. No.
Wow, that's something. I mean, I was thinking as it is, I have a relationship with my children, I have a relationship with my parents, I have a relationship with my husband, with my mom-in-law, with sister-in-law, sister. Oh my God, so many relationships. And now we're talking about relationship with food.
Yes, 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 we are.
And is it interconnected?
Absolutely.
How?
Because we eat to survive, as we have love to survive, as we need hugs to survive. We are human people that we need certain things to survive. We need fresh air, we need hugs, we need love, we need, we need food. So it's a survival. And so our relationship with food is equally as important as our relationships to ourselves, to our children, to our partners.
So I'm just going to welcome a few more people who are coming in, and I really want to thank each and every one of you for being here at such a short notice. So Archana is writing, yes, this all is resonating with me, and she put on a few kilos after her son flew the nest, and very interesting indeed. Rovina is saying, I guess it's comfort zone. Maha from Egypt is here. So we have people from various countries over here, and I'm so happy for that. Surbi is here, and Jyoti Kapoor is here. So people are saying, yes, totally agree with it. So tell me, Jules, there are a number of people, and my sister that I know, she suffers so many food allergies. Okay. And even when it comes down to animals, they say, don't give this and don't give that. And we are like becoming so, it's as if, the fresh food is losing its story, and it's more like, I need to have a vitamin, so one pill, I need to have this, and another pill, and I need to have this, and another one like this. I seem to be playing.
Yes, understand.
So tell me, how can I change my relationship with my food so that I don't get allergies? I am not breaking out all the time. I'm not just putting on weight, because I'm sure everything is connected. Thank you.
Thank you. So the first thing is very much about your mindset. So the first step to changing your relationship with food is to change your mindset about food. So I never start when I'm working with a client through one-to-one interaction or through my course, because I have a course called the Food Breakthrough Academy. The very first module is not about food. It's about your mind and the food, not the food, right? So your opinion about food, right? Is food good? Is food bad? What's my story about food? What's my history with food? How did I grow up around food? What was my mother or my father's relationship with food like? Because that's going to impact yours. So the first thing would be to look at, does food bring up positive, negative, or stressful emotions for you when you think about it? And whose emotions are they really? That's one of the first questions to look at, because sometimes people can take on the emotions of somebody else, and they need to let that go straight away and then become a blank canvas so they can actually manage their own feelings and not somebody else's. Because if you layer on everyone else's feelings, you're going to go, expand. You're going to, because there's nowhere else for it to go, because you're not expressing it.
Yes, absolutely. We have a question that's coming up here from Shilpa Shetty, who is on the Facebook. And hi, Shilpa, it's such a pleasure to have you here. She says, I eat less, but still have put on weight and no amount of workout helps.
Yes. Thank you, Shilpa, for the question. So again, it comes back to the fact that it may not be food related. So eating less may not be your answer. Working out may not be your answer, because I want to ask you a question, and if you are able to just say yes or no. When you work out, do you work out to the point that it's a real hard effort? Because if it is, that's a very stressful thing to do. Work out really hard because I'm determined to lose weight. It's like, oh my God, that's causing you stress. It's causing me stress to even think about how people do that. And again, stress puts on weight. When you do a workout, it should be fun. Move your body in a way that makes you feel amazing, not, oh my God, I've got to lose weight, so I've got to go to the gym, or I've got to go do my exercises, because that causes stress, it causes weight gain. She said yes. So yeah, so let's imagine for a moment that it is not food related, and the working out needs to be fun. Question yourself, is the exercise or movement that you've chosen to do fun? Do you get joy from it, or is it a headache? Because if it's a headache, you're going to have an opposite reaction to the one you're intending. I promise you that.
Wow, I never thought about it. Like going to the gym, it can be a stress. I mean, how many of us like to go to a gym?
Exactly.
How many of us would, sweat it out there? And how many of us want to pick up bigger weights or heavier weights, or just keep running on the treadmill? Or maybe we like to go out after all this pandemic has already happened. Thank you for that. That means exercise, if it's going to be stressful, it's going to create more cortisol and more water retention in your body. And you had it. We have another person who's asking question, and that's Archana Bhandarkar. She says, when she was younger, I don't know, I don't think she's old, but anyway, when she was, she's a very pretty looking woman. And she says, when she was old, she could control the urge to have something sweet at a younger age, but now she can't. I believe she's touched her 50s, and she could also be like reaching her menopause. So.
Okay, great question. The answer to that is we evolve all the time into new human beings and new phases in our lives. So we're not always the same with the same needs. If you think about when you were a baby, you had certain needs before you could then eat solids. Then you grew up and then you have different needs. Then as a teenager, your growing body has different needs. So you're comparing yourself to a younger version of yourself, and then you're thinking that you should be the same because it's you, but you're not ever going to be the same. And what you need now will be different to what you need when you're in your 80s or 90s. You'll eat less, perhaps. But right now, if you're in a menopausal state of mind, it will be different to when you were in your 30s and your teens. And if we didn't evolve like that in our bodies, then we're basically dead, because we have to evolve. We're humans. We're not flatline. We're up and down. Flatline is when you're on life support machine, and you're not. So thank God for that. And you're going to go up and you're going to go down and you're going to go up, because you are alive and you're vital, and that needs to be fed. That energy needs to be fed differently depending on the state of life that you are in.
Absolutely. And this reminds me of me saying to people, I often hear in India people saying, get settled. And get settled in India means get married.
Okay.
And if you're married, get settled means make babies. Mm-hmm. If you have babies, then they say get settled. Yes. It means that you have to take care of your children and educate them. And it goes on. I believe you can only get settled when you're lying down dead.
I couldn't agree more. And even then you may not be settled.
You don't move, you're settled for life. Okay, great, guys. That was just a joke, a silly one. Let's go to Saurabh, and he's saying, I do understand the significance of unreleased emotions, but would like to know your insights, please. So we could repeat this again. I'll repeat the question again.
I got it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
My insights on unresolved emotions. there is no benefit to unresolved emotions. There is a huge benefit on feeling emotions. If we were not emotional beings, then we are not experiencing the spectrum of life. We're not, we're out monotone. We have to experience the emotions if we are alive. And to not be able to express them or to choose not to express them is limiting our capacity to live a full, enriched life.
And could you give an example of that? I know that cognitively everybody understands. If you can give an example of how we're not living a life just because we didn't deal with something or we didn't let ourselves feel that emotion.
Yeah.
And I hear, yes. So could you give us an example for that? Thank you.
Yes, with an unresolved emotion, you're going to appear on the outside that you're there, but on the inside, you're going to be suffering and perhaps empty. So how you come across to, let's say, your husband or your wife is not the true you, because you haven't really been honest with yourself about what you're feeling, and therefore you're not honest with him or her. So they're only getting a small part of you. So when you don't express an emotion to yourself, you're not expressing it to the people that care about you the most. And they, therefore, are not able to support you because you're kind of distant. So it affects everything. Relationships, it will affect how you show up at work. It will affect how you are mothering or fathering. It will affect how you're a carer for any of your friends or supporting anyone that you care about, because you're not giving all of yourself to that person if you haven't given all of yourself to you.
I love the way you're saying it. I mean, I never thought about it, that if I'm not expressing myself, or I'm expressing myself like being all over the place, I'm really giving just a part of myself to my husband or to my wife.
Yeah.
And that may be the reason of a very difficult relationship and further stress. There is very nicely Yogesh is saying, I eat more in stress, so no gym, no walk, but I'm losing weight. Could you say why that could be there? So I eat more in stress. He doesn't go to the gym at that time. He doesn't walk at that time, but he's still losing weight.
Does he want to lose weight?
I don't know. Yogesh, do you really want to lose weight, or is it you're unhappy that you're losing weight?
Yeah, because it's a key question. Some people actually don't want to lose weight because they're too skinny or whatever. So it's an important question, that, and it will be different for everybody.
Absolutely. So thank you very much for that insight. We can't just answer. We need to know, what is it that you want?
Yes.
What's
exactly.
your idea of fitness, and what's your idea of the good looking you? Okay, so Maha is saying it's everywhere. Rovina is saying life cycle, marriage is the first step of getting settled. See, I told you, it goes on in Egypt too. Yogesh says, I want to gain weight. Okay, someone wants to become heavy.
Great. Now, it doesn't mean that they want to become heavy, but they want to become what they believe is healthier.
Yes.
Right. So maybe somebody who wants to gain weight is looking to become healthier because maybe they're lacking in energy because they feel that they're too skinny, or they feel weak, or not vital. They don't wake up in the morning and go woo. They're kind of like, it's a struggle, and this can make people think that they need to put on, eat loads to put on weight. Again, it's really about getting in touch with why you're doing what you're doing and what is the end result. What are you trying to achieve? If it's energy, it's got not very much to do with food. Food gives us a certain energy, but it doesn't give you the energy you truly need. If your clothes are falling off your body because you're too skinny, then adjust your clothes. Like, you need to think about what it is that you're trying to achieve and why you think that the answer is in food, because it might not be.
The image that comes to my mind right now is a big woman or a man sitting with a very small food in his plate, and a very lean person sitting with so much of food in his plate, and both are looking at each other and saying, oh my God, how did that happen?
Yeah.
So it's nothing to do with the food. Are there any more questions? If you have any more questions, please do put them in the chat. And Yogesh is saying thank you, Jules, and thank you, Anu. So I want to know this. There are a lot of children. There are a lot of children who are very, and especially during the pandemic, I believe that they are heavier than they should be, and they are not feeling light. What could the reason be for that?
Children.
Yes.
Yeah. It's been such a change in life, hasn't it, for people, that they've, you know, so many people have been at home for longer than they normally would be. So the sedentary lifestyle can create bad habits, unhealthy habits that people didn't have before. So during the first lockdown, I went to different corporate companies and helped employees who were working from home with their health and well-being as they were set up their office in their house. But a lot of them set it up in the kitchen. A lot of them set it up where they were looking at the fridge, and obviously when they have a little break, they're going to go and snack. The thing is, with children, it's the same thing. You know, you're spending more time at home, you're spending more time with the family, more things are available. You're going to eat more, you're going to do less exercise, you're out of your usual routine of running around with your friends, less movement. All of these sorts of things happened during lockdown, and even a couple of years on, which is where we're at, they haven't changed the unhealthy habits. But it's not too late to do that. You know, I'm helping people with this now. I've created a course called the Reset Button, which is about resetting. It's about clicking the button after lockdown and getting back to a really great state in your body. Because if you don't, these unhealthy habits build up and build up, especially if you're a child, into what is only harder to break the longer that you keep it. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I think so. And Rowena is saying that, and agreeing, when you make peace with yourself, you improve, and she has experienced that. Yogesh is saying thank you, he's got his answer. Maha has a question. Maha is again from Egypt, so thank you, Maha, for being here. And she says, how can we change our mindset towards food? We call some food healthy and others unhealthy. I think you already covered this, but why not cover it once more? I mean, how do you detach label food? Thank you, Maha, for that brilliant question. Thank you.
Thank you, Maha. It's not a 2-minute answer. So to answer your question fairly, and with the detail that it needs, call me. Happy to answer your question fairly. To answer it quickly in the next kind of minute, what I would say is you need to change your beliefs around food. So, you know, Anu and I, we do something called EFT, and that really shifts the subconscious. You may be familiar with it, but those sorts of processes, those sorts of things shift your subconscious belief patterns around food. It's not something you can do by yourself, but you do it with somebody experienced and everything changes. And that is not giving you a big justice to your question because it's a huge subject, but I hope it gives you some indication that it's around changing your mindset through changing your beliefs and finding more positive beliefs that are not holding you back. And then your relationship with food can massively improve.
Okay, let's go to the last few questions. And Maha is saying thank you. When you're talking about beliefs around food, can you give us a few of the beliefs that people may be having, and maybe they'll resonate with what you're saying, and they might start thinking from there, oh, okay, I do have this belief. Okay, so, and they might just start thinking of doing something about it, because if I'm not aware, then I'm not going to take any action. Thank you so much.
So the beliefs around food that people can experience, some of the typical ones are, I must eat everything on my plate, because there's people in the world that are starving.
And what about the parents when they say finish everything?
Finish everything. So when the parents say to a child, finish everything, sometimes too much food was put on the plate in the first place, but the child didn't serve their bodies. The parents served the plate. So the parents thought they knew what the best quantity was for their child, then says, eat all of that because otherwise it's a waste. But the child's body is saying, I don't need any more. What the parents are then doing is, without realizing it, they're switching off the signal for the child to follow that says, I've had enough, because they're almost force feeding them. Because the parents have a belief about wasting food or whatever, but the child's body is saying, this isn't good for me to eat anymore. I don't want it. They leave it. And the parents get all involved and the child is left feeling stuffed.
And somewhere we need to really think that maybe in our cultures, we are stuffing people with food, we're stuffing people with ideas, we're stuffing people with expectations. Yeah. We're stuffing people till they cannot take it anymore. What are the other beliefs? Maybe if you can give us just one more, it would be great. Thank you.
Sure. So one more belief that people tend to have around food is that if you eat less, you're going to lose weight.
Okay, so I can have 4 cookies which look like that tiny.
Yep.
But I will not have vegetables on my plate because there's so many.
Yeah.
Okay. And how do you deal with that?
So you deal with that because you have to realize when you're eating, it's not about what the quantity is that you're eating, it's about what the food is, how the food is nourishing you. So is the 4 little biscuits nourishing you in the same as a massive plate of vegetables? No, of course not. It isn't just about weight when you're eating, it's about concentration and focus and memory and energy and sleep and mood and hormones, and all of this is affected by what you feed your body. For any of you that drive a car, if you put the wrong petrol in the car, is the car going to move? No. So you are in an engine that needs feeding and nourishing the correct food. So when you choose to nourish your body with what you think is okay, which is 4 little biscuits, is your body going to move as well as if you nourished it with homemade biscuits, where is less sugar? I mean, eat biscuits by all means, but make them. Or eat biscuits and change the ingredients so that it's healthier sugar, not white processed sugar. Or change the flour so that it's not, white flour. You can go wholemeal. So enjoy a biscuit, but go for the best you can.
I didn't even think of it like that.
Yeah.
Believe me, I mean, most of the time, I'm just looking at the food and the phone is there. People are talking, and I'm sure this is also happening with many, many other people. There are commitments. I have to come back and do something. And everything else and everybody else seems to be more important than what's there in my plate. And then I'm eating, and I'm eating fast, and I'm just snacking because I need to finish. This seems like an unwanted activity. It's just there so that I can fill my stomach. I don't think about nourishing my soul or is it nourishing me. I just look at it and say, oh, wow, there's food. And thank God there's food. There's something happening in the pit of my stomach. And that's it.
Yeah.
So how should we eat our food?
Mindfully. I'm so pleased that you said that, because when you don't eat mindfully and you look at the plate and you go, my gosh, where's the food gone? Did the food fairy come and steal it? You don't realize you've eaten it. It shows that you're not mindful eating, and therefore your digestion has not been at its best because you've got no idea what you just did. And so all of that as well can increase the chances of putting on weight because you didn't realize you were even full. So you carry on eating. So if you're not mindfully eating, you're not listening to your body, and you're not then understanding the sign of fullness and satisfaction, and you're carrying on. And that's not good for people.
So is there any message that you want to give people, because we've come almost at the end of the And I wish I could continue talking with you because there are so many questions that are rotating in my head. I'm just going to look once again. Is there anything that anybody wants to know before we say goodbye? So, okay, there's nothing here right now.
Okay.
So
I just, I'm just going to pop in the Facebook chat box here a few things that might help people.
Yes.
You'll see here, if you are interested in more of what I've got to offer, all of these things are easily downloadable. They're all free, and it's just more resources available to you to get what you need. So one is a Facebook group. I know that some of you have joined it. One is a newsletter where you'll receive loads of my tips on a monthly basis. One of them is a free call with me, and I can put you in the right direction. And one of them is a downloadable PDF on the 5 ways to reset your mind and body. So please do take a look at the links in the Facebook group. If that is of interest and you would like some more, then that's good ways of contacting me and finding out more.
Thank you, Jules, for being so generous. I mean, a free phone call, a free book, and tips. What more would anybody want? And of course, a community. A community on the Facebook.
Yes, a community. The Facebook community is a lovely place to meet people who are all kind of thinking about their food, their body, their eating, relationship. And, you know, I'm there with lots of different things, and you can just contact me through that or book in a call on the link, you know, and we can have a chat. So whatever it is, I'm here for you. That's why I'm here.
So Jules, could you right at the end tell us what is your website called? I know you put the link, but just say it loudly so it stays here, because once it goes on the YouTube, people will not have these links. So if you could just read out the links loudly so people know what's the Facebook group that they need to join, where do they need to go, and how can they connect with you back again, and so how can they find you?
Thank you. So the first thing, the easiest link to tell you about is julesfrancis.com/newsletter.
Once more.
julesfrancis.com, that's julesfrancis.com/newsletter. And that's where you'll receive the monthly tips. If you would like to join my Facebook group, it's facebook.com/groups/food, body and mindset empowerment. So look up, it's a long word, food, body and mindset empowerment on Facebook. That's my group. And if you would like to download the free guide on the 5 steps to resetting your mind and body, it would be julesfrancis.com/reset-your-mind-body-free-guide. So you need to look at all of the hyphens because they are all words, but it says reset your mind body free guide with little hyphens in between.
Thank you so much. And can you also tell people where are you from, because I missed out on that? Which part of the world?
I am from Brighton, which is an hour from London, and yes, I've lived here for 20 years, originally from London, and I now live by the sea, where I get to see the sea right now from my window.
And I must tell you guys, she's brilliant. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Connect with her, connect with the Facebook group, connect with downloading the book, and enjoy. Thank you so much, Jules.
Thank you so much.
Really great.
Thank you, everyone who joined.
Bye-bye.
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 Bye-bye.